Welcome to 4C Radio. We are broadcasting from the central campus of Christ University, Bangalore. 4C Radio is brought to you by the Department of Media Studies, Christ University. For all who are looking for a platform that focuses on communities, commons, climate, and communication, this is the place to be. Today, we are thrilled to feature an inspiring student athlete whose journey exemplifies dedication across multiple disciplines. Our guest, Prashita Shetty, is a basketball player who was selected to play for the World University Games. Prashita discusses the mental and physical preparation for elite competition, the political challenges within Indian sports, and her lessons learned as a member of the Karnataka Under 23 team. A student of psychology and an accomplished Bharatanatyam dancer, Prashita, how does she balance demanding roles? And why has she chosen a future outside of sports in India despite her success? Join us for a candid and inspiring interview to find out about all this and more.
Congratulations on getting selected to play in the international level, like for World University Games.
Thank you so much. It was a really big deal for us, like for me especially. A lot of people rooted for me, and I never really thought I'd go up to that stage. But then when the opportunity presented itself in front of me, it was a huge thing for me. Like when I got the jersey and everything, I was like, oh, it's getting real.
How did you prepare for the games mentally and physically? Like, I mean, you're a national player.
Individually, like prior to any tournament or anything, I have always put in a lot of work, maybe in the court, the gym. There's always like that extra effort that I put while doing warm up itself. I'm like, if you get the chance to play your best, give your best. It's always that self talk that I do so that, I don't underperform in any way. Even if I make a mistake, I just tap myself back in the head and play your game. Don't make silly childlike mistakes. You're here for a reason. So in this community as such, there are a lot of people who come because of like political pull. So they make the team because maybe their father was the ex-Indian captain or their grandfather is a politician. There's a lot of politics involved when you make a particular team. So when you get in on your own credit, that itself holds like a lot of value for yourself in the first place. So when you get the chance to play as well, you need to like say that you've gotten here through merit. So play like you deserve it.
So, as a member of Karnataka Under 23 team that finished as national runner ups, what was the biggest challenge the team faced, and what did you learn from this experience?
I did not get game time after, say, when the knockout round started. I played all league games, and the only reason why I wasn't given the opportunity to play like the knockout games was lack of experience. And that lack of experience is something like in the back of my head, I was just like, if you don't let me play, how am I gonna be experienced enough for me to perform? I mean, someday or the other, like it might be my day and I might prove myself on court. But unless and until I'm given that opportunity, how can I just be like, oh, you don't have experience, so you can't play? Like that's kind of bullshit. Yeah, so the reason why we like finished runners up was because that day was probably not that girl's day, and that's why overall nobody could play properly. And I feel like the coach also was very, very strong headed. Sometimes that's a good character trait in a coach, but sometimes it really brings down the entire morale of the team. And I think that's what resulted in us coming second. It was not like a close match, it was like a solid blowout of 20 points, which was like kind of embarrassing. It is what it is. Like, I loved under 23 national. It was like the best experience of my life. I did not care. So my prior national experiences were pretty shit. So I got mistreated by the coach and everything, and I let it get to my head. So when I decided, like when I played this nationals, I was like, listen, when you get game time, you play. When you don't, just don't care. Like it's fine. Overall, it's like a team thing. If they win, they win. You also win. If you lose, I mean, if they lose, you also lose. It's the same thing. But yeah, under 23, I had a lot of fun. Like it was like not just on court, even off court. It was like I had like a really good time. I will never forget under 23 nationals ever. Yeah.
And now you got a chance to like play for the World University Games. So, do you think that adds on to your credibility?
It really does. So I don't even think anybody in the Karnataka State Board like even knew me. Like who is Prashita Shetty? Although I used to perform in every single state tournament. My names were always on the paper and everything. But then when you make that team and when you have that India jersey and then when they want to post you on their page, that means that they've recognized you in some way or the other, and that means that they want you around. It does create an impact, but I wouldn't care whether I made team or not now because, like, bro, I've played all levels at this point. I just do not care. Like, I have a future to build, and that's definitely not on the sports because sports in India is just not it. Like after playing in the World University Games, I was just like, we're nothing. We're never gonna be in par with the European leagues and the American leagues. Where I think this was the first time we all played like, setup where there were European teams as well. Because when India plays basketball, we only end up playing FIBA Asia. So that means that we play like the big guns of Asia, like Australia and China and Japan and all of them. So we have never gone to the extent of playing with teams from the USA, from South America, like Argentina, European teams like Poland and Czech Republic, and they're all like huge. So when such opportunities present itself in front of you, like when you go there, you're automatically like, oh my God, we are nothing. Because those guys have like facilities of all kinds. They have like coaches for warm up, they have coaches for cool down, they have a statistical coach. And I didn't even know what a statistical coach was up until like I saw them. And I was like, wow, just like seriously, wow. And to reach that level with the amount of politics that happens in India, that's never gonna happen. Like, at least in my perspective, it's never gonna happen. We're never gonna cross the Asian borders, is what I feel at this rate.
You said you don't want to build a career based on this. So, what are your career goals?
So my father always wanted me or my brother to be a doctor. I had already made up my mind that, in fourth standard only, I was like, I'm never going to take science ever in my life. I am not going to do physics. I'm not going to do maths. That was like my benchmark. So I was never ever going to get into the field of medicine is what I thought. Up until I was introduced to psychology in 11th grade. Psychology was like a shortcut to becoming a doctor for me, to be very honest. Something about psychology like really interested me all the more. Like I always wanted to learn more, like more about the brain. Com is such a interesting subject and everything. I was like, okay, I'll take CP, big deal. I took it and I really enjoyed. Like my first semester, I really, really liked how Suparna ma'am taught us the foundations of communication. Like to be very honest, I'm a very theoretical learner. I like theory a lot. So based on that, I was like, okay, maybe I do like this course. And then through the years, like, the waves of Christ hit me left, right, and centers. It was bad. Second semester was a little stressful. So for us, even semesters have more tournaments, and somehow even semesters are more difficult in this college. So I ended up back. That kind of failure was like one slap on my face. And that's when like I cleared all of that. But then after that, it was like, bro, you pass. There's no option of backlog.
So, how did you manage those?
So after that second semester, the recent even semester was my fourth semester.
Mhm.
So I'd gone for under 23 nationals, right? And immediately after I came back, we had NSEMs. And prior to that, I wasn't even in college. So what happened was when even semester started in December, obviously December holidays are there, but then prior to that, we had South Zone practice. So we used to have practice. So after practice, when you go to class, you end up sleeping. There's no point. For me, it's like whether I attend class or not, it's all about attendance for me. But yeah, we had practice and everything, and then we had tournaments, and then we had All India, and then I had World University trials. Like during All India, I was having my under 23 camp. That was like for a month. Then I had under 23 for like 1.5 weeks. And then I came back. I'm like, okay, I'll write my papers. I wrote my papers. I even took prior permission so that I can go attend the World University trials. And I missed 2 papers. Then I was like, no, you missed only 1 paper. So I missed only 1 paper and I wrote everything else. But because of all this, again, in my even semester, we had something called service learning. Now, service learning, you have to do it to get your degree. And I wasn't even there in the state properly to do some service to any kind of institution. So I feel that. And then the paper that I didn't write that I'm due to write in November. So when you don't write that, it comes as an F. So irrespective of like whatever I did, I passed all the papers without even studying. Now more pressure is there because I have to clear everything by this year so that I can peacefully step into fourth year and get my honors degree.
You are into multiple disciplines, like you are an artist, you're a dancer, and then you're a sports person, and then you're into psych as well. So, like, have there been instances where all these are like just combining with each other and working with each other?
Okay, so balancing my life has been happening since I started Bharatanatyam when I was 4 years old. So I was a very hyperactive child. So she was like, there's no way I'm going to keep this child inside the house because there's like a lot of destructive behavior. She put me to dance class. At the same time, I was doing taekwondo. At the same time, I was in drawing class and then music class. Every day of the week, I had something. There was no like, come back from school and Prashta can go to the park and play and then she'll come back and she has to sleep. There was nothing of that sort. There was like, Prashta will come back from school, she'll go to play Or before playing, she'll go to a class, then she'll come back, then she'll go to play, or she'll play and then she'll go to a class. I was always packed since dance began. Then fifth standard, I started playing basketball. I never thought I was going to be someone who's going to play basketball ever. I was a very fast person. Like, I ran really fast. I was more into athletics. And I was like, okay, why not let me play basketball? Something about my coach in school, he was like, okay, she can play. He took me to the team. We went for our first tournament. And that's when he was like, the only person who was running on court today was Prashita. And that's when like I started taking the sport seriously, because you know that recognition that you get from an individual. So that's when I started playing basketball. Then again, in school, I couldn't attend after school practice because Monday I used to have dance class, or Tuesdays I used to have dance class. And after school activities go up till like say 4:30, and then I have to reach home, which was not really close to my school. Sometimes I used to not attend practice, sometimes I used to not attend dance class. So I was just like, you know what, bro, I will not attend practice. I will go to dances. I'll attend practice once a week. I have to attend dances because my mom was very particular about that. And then we moved out of the place where my dance class was happening. So then it got a little more hectic. My mom and dad were like huge pillars of support for me. So I'd finish school. I'd probably come back home. And then my parents would drive me to dance class. That's like almost a 40-minute, 45-minute drive. And they'd do some work in and around that place, or they'd wait for me there for me to finish class, and then they'd get me back. And this happened till I was 18 years old. So they did this for like almost 8 years without any complaints. I don't know. As a person, I was just like, Prashad, they're doing so much for you. The least you can do is go attend class and not leave it. So maybe that was one thing, like, holding me together, saying, dude, just do your job. They're also doing their job. Be grateful and just do it. But then, when injuries hit and when tournaments back up, I end up missing class, and that somehow upsets my teacher a lot, which I agree. She expects a lot from me, given that I'm learning for her for almost 15, 16 years. So she gets it. She gets that, I'm balancing both. But yeah, it's happening.
Whether it be dancing or whether it be in sports or even in your college psych and all. So have you seen like gender stereotypes?
In college, yeah. I'll give you an example of our boys' team and us. Our boys' team's practice starts at 5:30, convenient for them, because they're boys. Even if they live near college, live away from college, they're boys, so they can travel and like not be worried for their lives as such. But for us girls, see, few of us have class till 3:45. So by the time we even get out of class, decide to get ready and come, say 4:15, give ourselves a break for a second. And somehow when our practice starts by 4:15, the boys have already spawned to court at 4:45. Yet last year the girls team was a team that won every single tournament that happened in Bangalore. We were the best team in the Bangalore circuit. We played South Zone away from home. It was not organized by Christ. We played against last year's All India winners, and we won against them qualifying for All India. All of this was not even happening in our favor. It was happening in another court. We did so much. We even got that Khelo India qualification. We did everything. Yet somehow the boys team had the same thing in their favor over here. It happened in Christ. So they'll be placed with a team which is less strong. They qualified for Khelo India, and they get this, award and recognition of all kinds. And we didn't get anything. Only our photos there on that billboard kind of thing. That's all. We didn't get an award. We didn't get anything. And we won more tournaments than those boys. And yeah, when it came to the practice thing, they can just come in whenever they want. And we'd be like, so we literally just came. Let us practice for at least 1.5 hours. And he's like, no, this is boys' time. And we'd be like, what are you doing with your boys' team in the first place? It was very upsetting that, and it still is, to be honest, that the boys get to play more tournaments. They get to get that extra exposure. Last year, although we played so much and we won so much, the boys went for an All India tournament back in Kerala in Rajagiri. And then later we find out that there was a girls' this thing. I was like, oh my God, what are we even supposed to say? And what else are we even supposed to do to make us feel we are better? But yeah, not in my hands.
And then like how was it in Germany? The same situation happening or like
No.
how was it there?
No, Germany was fine. Germany was really good. Our coach was very understanding. He was a really chill guy. I have zero complaints about Germany. I had fun. You're your own individual. Do whatever you want. Make sure you play your game. Nothing less, nothing more.
That was Prashita Shetty giving us a powerful, honest, and inspiring look into the life of a multi-talented student athlete. From the intensity of international basketball and the challenges of sports politics in India, to the discipline of Bharatanatyam and the pursuit of degree in psychology, her commitment is truly remarkable. Thank you for tuning in to 4C Radio. We hope Prashita's story encourages you. This episode was edited by Aditya Srinivas and illustrated by Varnika Singh. If you would like to get in touch with us to share an idea or your feedback, we are listening. Reach out to us through the official handles of the 4C Media Hub. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep listening.